Okay, so we earn over 900,000 per year in dividends using Yieldmax, Cornerstone, Margin, and other high yield dividend paying funds. Today we're going to be discussing a smarter way to play ULTY and MSTY because these are two high yield dividend paying funds that help contribute to my over 900,000 per year in dividends. As you can see with our performance and value, many people think Yieldmax sucks. They think that these funds are trash. They said that repeatedly over the last 6 months, let's just say. But look, our brokerage shows that we're up 4% for the year. The S&P is up 1%. The Nasdaq's down for the year. The Russell is up 8%, and that's why I'm making this video. I've already been telling all of my members about this. I'm always trying to keep my performance close to the indexes, and right now I'm not mad. We were up 5% this year, but last week, but we had a little dip with tech, and so we're only up 4%, but the Russell keeps moving higher. And so ULTY and MSTY are big plays on risk on sentiment, and that's what the Russell is, risk on. And so we're going to discuss a smarter way to play ULTY and MSTY. If you need help getting this kind of outperformance and living free from a 9 to 5, email me for my e-guides at akintodd48@gmail.com or head to my website, Unconventional Wealth Ideas. You can learn all about my e-guides here in my FIRE community here. We have the best community in the world, okay? The best finance community in the world. I don't know of any other YouTube channel that's not only showing how to live out of a brokerage account so that you can live free from 9 to 5 or supercharge your 9 to 5. Also, just, we talk about how to outperform here. That's my big passion. I love outperformance. I want more available withdrawal because, yes, I like this $2 million account value, but I want more available withdrawal. And that's what one of the topics is today, is a smarter way to play ULTY and MSTY. And what that includes is raising my available withdrawal. And I'm going to share with you what all that means. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. All right, for one, we're seeing a bounce back in small caps, okay? I just showed you small caps are up 8% for the year. Many of my members are up massively too. I mean, I know Christina to my right here, she's up around 7%. And so I know a lot of members are up, around 5 to 6% because we're playing ULTY and we're using it right. Also, we use Cornerstone and some other growth vehicles that we'll maybe touch on later, but she uses full margin, okay? I'm at 500,000 in margin and my account's at 2 million. So I'm using between 20 and 30% leverage at the moment. I'm trying to get this down because the market's at the highs. However, the Russell keeps moving higher, and I don't want to miss out on the Russell, but I don't want to chase the Russell either because that's not the main benchmark to beat. The main benchmark is the S&P or the S&P and the Nasdaq. So my leverage is a little bit lower because the market's at the highs, and I'm trying to get it down. Y'all saw last year I just kept raising my leverage because why not? I mean, I get paid more profit to use these dividend paying funds at the interest that I'm charged, which is around 4%, a little under 5%, somewhere in the 4s. Many of my members have gotten their rates down as well, okay? Also, I'm almost ready to send the script to all platinum members, okay? But I'm still getting to my YouTube premium members, okay? All these members that you see that have a badge here by their name, okay? Either YouTube premium or, Circle members, because I have Discord. Discord comes free for life when you buy my e-guides. It's the free chat room. But also I have Circle, which is another free chat room that's just my private circle with my most esteemed members. And there's also free components here, and then there's a premium component if you want my trade alerts. So I just want to say that if you're in Circle or you're in YouTube premium and you have this badge by your name, just let me know and I'll send you your script to negotiate your rates down, okay? And then I'll get to all platinum members next. All right, I'm almost there to platinum. So, my margin debt is lower and I'm not worried about these rates because they're so low. So I get a profit to increase my margin, but it's an arbitrage opportunity. But right now I'm trying to keep it lower because the market is higher. But what about the Russell? What if there's a stealth bull market happening in the Russell? Okay, we have ULTY right here, but we have IWM, which is like an ULTY. ULTY has a lot of small caps. And so here we have the IWM absolutely on a tear, okay? And I've been, pounding the table with my members. I'm trying to get more Russell exposure without chasing it, okay? I'm trying to do it safely. And one way to do that is obviously through ULTY, okay? Small caps haven't had a run for years, and they're maybe finally due. So ULTY has had a nice bounce back as well. You can see here off the lows, from 37, 33, it's been holding steady, okay? Because we'll make these moves up, 37.23 to 38.28, and then what do you have? An ex-dividend date. So it's starting to do what we did here when ULTY had this great outperformance. When ULTY was up 30%, it was just going sideways. So we're getting that same movement here. We're getting this outperformance now thanks to ULTY, because ULTY is, its holdings are back on track now. Their holdings are starting to rally. Many small caps are starting to rally. So with ULTY here, you look at the holdings, all right, we traditionally know that ULTY used to have really high beta, really risky stocks to get their 70% yield. Okay, you can see here the yield is 70%. And by the way, what's the total return? Down 1%. That needs to be updated. Look at the chart. It looks like it's down 50, 70%. Obviously, that's wrong. Please learn how to invest. And I don't give advice on investing. I just share it works with me. But please learn how dividend stocks work. They drop by the amount of the dividend. So it makes a downward sloping price on the chart. But that's not the real chart. You go to Morningstar and you can see their true charts. Okay, I always use Cornerstone as my example. 4-star fund. CRF was 5-star and moved down to 3-star. So, I'm just trying to highlight the fact that CLM is actually 4-star when it was 3-star. And CLM moves upward, left or right on its chart. Okay, 4-star fund, it's indexed. All right, and so look at how that works. We have ULTY here. Okay, ULTY, if you go look at the chart of ULTY, you see that it moves upward, left to right as well. Okay, so please, again, learn how dividend stocks work. I don't give advice, but if you're looking to try to outperform the markets and you want to live free and have all these dividends pay you as like a paycheck so you can qualify for more loans to live free from 9 to 5, well then ULTY is a great candidate to do that with. And you just need to understand how dividends work. So also you need to understand the holdings within ULTY. Okay, look at these. They're much higher quality now. They were formerly low quality. Now they're higher quality. We have NVIDIA, which is the largest stock in the market. Okay, it's the highest weighted. You have Google. So, Lam Research, that's in the indexes. Quanta Services is actually a really stable name if you go look at the chart. At least in 2025 it was. So you have other, Bitcoin and gold and, silver, precious metals and alternative currencies here as holdings for ULTY. And so now that they've shored up their holdings, which a lot of members like, we all talk about that, now I'm looking at things differently with ULTY. Okay, so with ULTY, the first thing that was huge for us last year was getting that reverse split, because the reverse split didn't change anything. It didn't change the dividend. The dividend's still 70%, but it kept our maintenance the same. This was huge. Okay, this made it to where I didn't have to worry about selling any of my ULTY with the maintenance going to 100%, so I could keep a larger position in ULTY because of the maintenance, but also because of the change of the holdings, you could keep a larger position in ULTY. But even still, if it was going below $3 a share, it would have risen to 100% maintenance, and that would have really thrown a wrench in our plans, okay, to live free from 9 to 5. So now we got the maintenance down to 50%, preserving half of our equity, okay? If you need help understanding maintenance, see my Volume 3 e-guide. So this is the first thing that's important with ULTY. We got our maintenance down, okay, back down to 50 with the reverse split that didn't change anything, thanks to our channel and our community who made that push to Yieldmax to get the reverse split. Y'all can thank me later. Then we had the holdings change for ULTY, all right? So now I can anchor my portfolio with even more confidence in ULTY because of the holdings and the low maintenance. But then we have this new development happening with the Russell, okay? I've been just alluding to this in the video, okay? The Russell moving up 8%. Usually the Russell lags. So how can we get more Russell exposure? All right, well, the first thing that I've done, I've been telling my members, I know YouTube would potentially crucify me for this, but I ran it through by my members first, okay? Through the logic here that I'm trying to lay out for ULTY, I decided to add more to ULTY, okay? ULTY, because ULTY was terrible in a bear market because Bitcoin and small caps were down during the, from October 10th of 2025 to now, Bitcoin and small caps have really been struggling. So ULTY was really, a terrible candidate to have in your portfolio for stability and, passive dividend income investing because it was down massively each day. But in a bull market for small caps, ULTY could be a nice complement to ULTY And y'all remember that we have the ULTY SALT-T hedges. Now I don't really need SALT-T as much because ULTY is such high quality. It already protected a lot of positions with puts anyways. So why use SALT-T? It was just dragging on my portfolio. Well, my thinking with my members was I brought up ULTY. I had it small, very small weighted in my account. And I was watching it, I was tracking it. I saw that it could be up 5-10% in a given day. It was up 3% or so on Friday. So look, there's not a lot of decay, you know, as far as like from where the bottom goes. We're trying to round out a bottom here. And this reminds me of the original ULTY, okay? ULTY looks almost like the original ULTY, okay? You go here to ULTY's website, you see the holdings to rec shares. You see these are more like what ULTY looked like last year, okay? We have, you know, some really sketchy stocks. We have Bloom Energy, although Bloom's been on fire, and I sell options on Bloom in my dad's account. We're going to talk about that hopefully in another video. But it has all these exciting names in it that really get killed in a downturn. But they have high volatility, so that's how it gives you that 70% yield approximately. And so that's what we have here, 75% yield. As you can see here, okay, let me scroll down and get away from my camera, 75% yield, whereas ULTY is 70%. So this is how I can get the higher yield, but I'm not putting too much in ULTY. You can see my position sizes at any time in YouTube memberships, okay? You can go see my portfolio here at any time, okay? We recap my portfolio. I send, you know, portfolio recap videos to Discord, but you know, you can always find the videos here, okay, in memberships on YouTube. All right, so here, you know, you can see my holdings once again, and you see that ULTY is not a large part of my portfolio, but I'm bringing it up to the size of SALT-T so that SALT-T and ULTY can negate each other. All right, because SALT-T hedges ULTY, but it doesn't really have the same holdings. We noticed that a lot of the holdings within SALT-T were much lower quality than ULTY. Some of the stocks were completely different. So they're just shorting small caps. I haven't looked at SALT-T lately, but chat just confirmed with me if I'm wrong there. But if SALT-T pretty much is a bunch of small caps that aren't even the same as ULTY, why not inversely hedge those holdings with ULTY? Okay, let ULTY and SALT-T neutralize each other so that ULTY doesn't provide, so that SALT-T doesn't provide unnecessary drag in your portfolio in a bull market with Bitcoin. If small caps are rallying and Bitcoin's rallying, then SALT-T starts to just weigh, you know, negatively on your account for no reason. But you don't really want to lose complete exposure to SALT-T because SALT-T has a nice yield and it still, you know, it serves a purpose having somewhat of a hedge. But I can negate that with ULTY for the reasons I just listed. Moving on to the second part of this video, I have a few components to list with MicroStrategy and how to play it smarter. Okay, so you know, with ULTY, it's not really something that I'm changing the way I'm playing ULTY. It's just a different way of looking at ULTY with ULTY and complementing it there and using less hedge with SALT-T. And we'll talk about future hedges with ULTY in the next video, I hope. Maybe we can get to that in this video, but because there's a much smarter way to hedge ULTY as well. But with MSTY, we have Bitcoin potentially bottoming out. Look at MSTY. Okay, look at the chart. It looks terrible. Yeah, everyone says the same thing on YouTube, but all those people are just misinformed. Obviously, here's the chart of MicroStrategy. It looks very similar to MSTY during this recent, you know, sideways action. But anyway, look, MicroStrategy is way off the highs. But I've been, you know, commenting even in public videos that, you know, a lot of members, not my members in particular, but I've just seen, you know, around the comment section I get on YouTube, people would say they're happy for selling out of MSTY, MicroStrategy. I don't know why they were selling out around these levels when they were just moving sideways. And then we had a huge pop the other day. And so we could be seeing like a bottoming process happen. And Bitcoin, we saw that they're not going to get delisted from the MSCI, I believe it was, index. So and they also have really, you know, some other like MicroStrategy is an interesting business model to begin with, but we'll get into that in another video. I'm just talking about a smarter way to play it. We always talk about using, you know, the strangles with MSTU and MSTZ. You can see those past videos, or you can see how I hedge any of my holdings in volume 5. But we're not going to really talk about how to hedge again so much ULTY today or MicroStrategy. You can just, we'll wait for future videos or see past videos. well, today I just want to share with you how I'm playing MicroStrategy to get the safest outperformance possible. Okay, MicroStrategy. All right, yes, Misty. Okay, Misty, you know that Misty's had a great return, since its inception. Look at it on the Yieldmax website. It has a 64% yield, which is down a bit. When prices rise, volatility will rise, then the dividends will rise, and then people won't be saying, oh, they're so mad about Yieldmax cutting dividends all the time. But since inception, it's up 38%, okay, 83% cumulatively, and we know that this was up a couple of 100% originally, but MicroStrategy had the pullback. But nonetheless, you see the performance there, okay? That's nothing to scoff at. Whoever is hating on Yieldmax is simply not looking at total returns there and factoring back in dividends. But now that we go in cycles with the market, things are at highs, things are at lows. So I've talked about this idea before, but with MicroStrategy, I like to sell puts on BitX because look, BitX lowered my margin by 25,000. I sell these options on BitX. I get to play Bitcoin as a pure way to play Bitcoin, pure, without any headline risk like with MicroStrategy. And then obviously we lower our margin by about 25,000. We have $4,000 profit in here in these. These are, again, sold options. These are not, I don't buy options here. These are not protective options. These are selling options, okay? I like to sell options to get extra performance, and I'm going on another round, another spree of selling options. I've already been selling options with TNA, and I've been alerting my members of that. I'm desperately trying to get more Russell and, small cap and fintech Bitcoin exposure. They're all related. So I've been selling options. And look, we're already up, 4,000 in this BitX option, but I don't care about the total gains or losses. These could be complete losses. It wouldn't matter to me. The only loss you see here is the ULTY option when we had the reverse split, so that's not even accurate. But these other options, they just simply make money over time. You just sit there and you sell them and they lower your margin and they make you money safely over time. You can still play the Bitcoin game through just collecting the cash up front. I remember last year we had about $50,000 to almost $100,000 worth of premiums from BitX alone, okay? And that lowered my margin by $50,000 to $100,000, okay? It lowered my volatility in Bitcoin. It lowered my cost basis. People should not be daunted by selling options. These are naked options, okay? Not cash secured, okay? Naked, where they actually lower my margin and they're lower maintenance, okay? If you need help selling options, that's in volume 6, okay? So this is the way that I'm playing MicroStrategy's bounce back, okay? I've sold options on MicroStrategy. You can see here in my options section, I also have sold options on MicroStrategy, but I'm selling these options on BitX to get pure exposure to the Bitcoin rally without the risk, okay? And then obviously to get more out of MicroStrategy and Misty, you can use the MSTU, MSTZ strangles, okay? The strangle strategy like we discussed in prior videos. All right, so I just think that with the market being at the highs, but the Russell making it back to potentially new highs and it's returning to its glory days of having a stealth bull market rally with small caps. Maybe it's not broadening out to the S&P and the NASDAQ, but with small caps, you could see Bitcoin and these other asset classes that have been really beaten up over the last year. You could see them rallying, and then that Bitcoin, that whole downdraft we saw last year took my performance down. We finished up 25% last year. We were up 35 at one point. We've been up 30% plus each of the years we've been here at YouTube, 3 years, so that makes 100% gain. That's how we got to over $1 million. I've been doing it right in front of you this whole time. But now we see this opportunity. I see this opportunity in Bitcoin. It took about 5 basis points away from my performance last year. And this year, it can potentially add that back, 5 or 10% performance this year in 2026. If we get that, a 10 to 20% rally in the market as well, which would be excellent because the market has been up 20% plus for the last 3 years. Well, then that would give us another 30 to 40% gain. But without the risk, I've just laid out ways to not expose yourself to the same risk in Bitcoin, and also to the same risk, expose yourself to the same risk with small caps, okay? I sold options on TNA as well, which lowers my risk, okay? Again, that's all in volume 6. And I talked about how to, strangle your positions with Bitcoin if you caught that Again, go watch past videos. And I just told you how to, reapproach ULTY with small caps and ULTY, but how to hedge ULTY, okay, through the salty vehicle there, okay? And I think that's just a way that we're going to get extra performance. By the way, ULTY was still 50% maintenance, okay? And so, it wasn't like it was hard for me to put this on because, 50% maintenance is not going to kill me. And so, I want to find ways to get small cap exposure without chasing small caps. I still hedge ULTY with salty. All right, once again, hey, Justin, Eve, great to see y'all today. And Frosty, thanks for being here early. Navy, where's Navy? Let me try to go grab Navy for you, okay? Here's the Navy bean right here. We got Navy. Her name is short for NAV. That's Navy is. She's got the blue eye, but also she has her initials NAV, which stands for the Cornerstone drip at NAV. Okay, that's also how we stabilize our account, how we get this outperformance. I already alluded to Cornerstone being a 4-star fund. We have 23% drips at the NAV now. Okay, on top of the 20% dividend, we're getting a 23% gain every month on top of the 21% dividend. Okay, that's for CRF. Let's update CLM. Now we have 25% premiums for CLM. All right, on top of the 21% dividend, it sets its dividend every year at that NAV. Then we get 25% every month. Okay, and I know my members at Discord are loving this. I've been seeing a lot of active discussion about when they're getting their drip, and you can see how all these members play Cornerstone. Obviously, you can see it in my live videos. You can see it in Volume 4, how I play Cornerstone, okay, because you have to play Cornerstone properly, but it gives you these drips at the NAV, all right? It gives you this 21% dividend that's indexed, so you get days gains with Cornerstone, and you're getting extra money every month, 25% gains every month. I remember in 2021, we had 30% plus gains, almost 50% every month. So that's why my community is so drawn to that. Our discussion channel here at Discord for Cornerstone is always very active. And so, we give you the alert like I showed you here, this alert right here, and that's how we played Cornerstone last year when it was here at these highs and it went to these lows, okay? We sold out around these highs, many members. The alert came, put it this way, at these highs, okay? The alert came at Discord, and then that's how you really make money in the market, is by using indexed funds on margin a little bit, but also closed-end funds like Cornerstone that give you rights offerings and drips at NAV. Okay, and all that is found in Volume 4 if you need help playing Cornerstone. All right, and so that's how we're getting this this outperformance. Okay, if you need help doing any of this, getting this kind of outperformance, using Cornerstone, using options, email me for my e-guides at akintod48@gmail.com or head to my website, unconventionalwealthideas.com. All right, and so I was just looking at the comments here, and I appreciate you, Justin, for asking about Navy. All right, yeah, she's sort of the mascot here for this channel. I don't bring her up enough, okay, but that NAV drip is everything. So I hope all of y'all are doing well. I hope y'all enjoyed my take today on ULTY. All right, it's definitely helped us. I mean, I remember ULTY was up 3% again on Thursday or Friday. And so, but I don't want to be buying these too fast. The market's at the highs. The Russell's melting higher. So I'm waiting for dips, but I'm not getting the dips. So I'm having to nibble and sell options where I can. And so, I'm trying to get this outperformance with the Russell, and especially with the Russell, but safely. Okay, it's more about the S&P and the NASDAQ. Hey, Ro, Jeremy, so good to see you, Jeremy. Happy Saturday. Hey, Mark, Daniel, Dan. Hey, Todd, any plays with silver? Yes, of course. We have a few plays, Dan. We covered that on Thursday, I believe. All the holdings within the portfolio, and also you can see all the team sessions we have on Circle. You can see those in the video section here. Don't forget to not only look in the live section but also in the video section. All right, and if you have more questions on silver, Dan, we'll talk about that Monday or Tuesday. Okay, when the market's live, we have more information to digest. Justin, I was up over 7, and that pullback dropped me down to 5.5. Yeah, I wonder what it was, Justin. Was it the NASDAQ pulling back, or was it Bitcoin the last couple of days pulling back? For me, I think it was I'm going to say I think it was the NASDAQ pulling back. And it was a combination of the NASDAQ. Last week, I think the NASDAQ was down 0.5%. And then now it's, or maybe it was actually, what was the NASDAQ last week? Was it up or down? Anyway, the NASDAQ, has been digesting, the move up recently. It's been at the highs. Most indexes are falling back to the 20-day moving average, and that's a nice digestion. And then Bitcoin has had a little bit of a pullback. Semiconductors have been on fire for us, but Bitcoin has been pulling back. And so maybe that's the reason. Yeah, right. We can't complain with that kind of performance. Justin, still, beating the main benchmarks. Happy Saturday, Dave. Hey, Amir, good afternoon. Thanks everyone for y'all's support. I appreciate my members so much. Jared, hey, do you think with the news that America is going to impose more tariffs on EU countries because of Greenland, how do you think the market will react? Great question, Jared. I'm excited for any tariff related news, okay? Because we know last year that was all a buying opportunity. So if we were to get another dip related to tariffs this year, even if somehow the tariffs were to get rolled backward or they were to get voted unconstitutional, whatever, okay, the market might react. But then if the market reacted to that in a negative way, if tariffs went away, well, then we would just go back to the conditions we had last year pre-tariffs, and any market dip should be bought. And then if we are going to get new tariffs, new taxes and things that will benefit us, well, then any market dip should be bought as well. So it's a win-win in my opinion when it comes to tariffs, Jared. Same for the Corona shutdowns. You knew that wasn't because of a recession. That was just because of Corona tests. I mean, you can tell when it's because of tariffs or Corona. These are artificial numbers and sentiment that have nothing to do with actual sentiment, consumer sentiment. Are you going to still buy your products at Walmart? I think so. Are you still going to use your iPhone? I think so. So just all a buying opportunity, Jared. But that's a great question because I've been getting that a lot, Jared. It's great to see you, Jared. By the way, hope all is well. Oh man, Dylan, hope you're well too, Dylan. Great to see you. Hey, Chris. Hope you're having a great weekend, Chris. Okay, I start to get overwhelmed when I see all my members. I know them all personally. You have my number, and, because when you buy my e-guide, you get my number and Discord. And, I'm really close with my members. And I'm just so glad that we're all getting this outperformance together. All right, it's a great feeling. Hey, Jake, good afternoon. Todd, are we setting up for a rights offering this spring? Well, Jake, I've been getting the question nonstop, okay? Obviously, I think maybe you've been on Discord. I don't know if you've been seeing Discord, but you can see, the latest discussions there. And, I just think that at 25% premiums, things are starting to get more interesting. But I'll give you more of my thoughts, on Monday because we want to see what the market does on Monday. But I'm ready for either direction. Okay, Jake, and let's discuss that when we get more market information on Monday or Tuesday, Jake. Okay. Great question. That's the $1 million question right now. Hey, Seagull. So great to see you, Seagull. Man. Tunza, I saw your email. Great to see you, Tunza. Okay, and we could talk after this video if you want. Hey, Hulk, man, what's up? I'm starting to get overwhelmed here, okay? I love all my members so much. Hulk, I hope your mom's doing well, all right? We all know we have to take care of our moms. DC, what's up, DC? Hello. Great to see you, DC. Man, long time. Jonathan, hey, Todd, you're up 5.65 year to date. Great job, Jonathan. I'm so proud of you, brother. Question for you. What do you think of MSTK? I was just assigned Misty shares from a put I had sold several months ago. I'm thinking of switching them out for MSTK. MSTK. Well, I know a lot of members have been bringing to me the, STRCs of the world. And, we know this fund manager, okay? I hope I'm saying their name right, Total Capital. They seem to have really good performance with their funds. Okay, we have another Total holding, and so 50% maintenance you mentioned, which is very interesting with that kind of yield. Okay, 55% yield, 50% maintenance. As long as it stays there, Jonathan, which we know sometimes those maintenance levels change, I think that's a great hack. And we have, I think YieldBoost has another 50% maintenance name. Justin, Frosty, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they updated that yet, and it's still 50%. But I've been looking for more 50% maintenance names, and if everyone else is as well for exposure to Bitcoin, then take a look at MSTK. All right, and I'll do more homework on it for you, Jonathan. Hopefully if we do the next members video, we can talk about it there. Good afternoon, Silverliner. Same here. All right, it's a great day. It's a beautiful day, and it's great to see you, Silverliner. DOHC, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, Garage. I'm just saying, Garage. I hope I'm not butchering your name. It's great to see you, D. All right, we're just going to call you D. All right, good afternoon. Jonathan, you're welcome, Jonathan. Great point, Jonathan. Great point. Silverliner, Todd, does Cornerstone have an RO every year? Not every year, Silverliner. That's the thing about Cornerstone is, you never know when it's going to happen. All we can do is follow our premium levels, and we have to watch a few other indicators in the market, which we'll go over on Monday. I like to look at the indexes. I like to look at what the indexes are going to do, and whatever they do, that kind of determines where the premium levels will be for Cornerstone. So that's how you really read the tea leaves with Cornerstone, is not just by looking at the premium levels, but watching the indexes and watching the key support areas on the indexes. And again, we'll cover that this week sometime. All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Okay, I hope it wasn't too long, 30 minutes. Okay, nice and sweet. Hey, Breadman, yeah, MTYY, Frosty, that's the YieldBoost fund, right? And is that 50% maintenance still? I think it is. And so we'll just do a quick check on that MTYY. I know their Nuggy was 50% maintenance, and that was a nice gold fund that we had exposure to. 50%, that's right. Thanks for that, Frosty. You always come through in the clutch, Frosty. I always appreciate you, brother. And great to see you, Breadman. I have a good teams lined up for you, Breadman. I can't wait to see you and everyone else in that team session talking about the loans, the various loans that I'm using to get my next house. I have a lot of great ideas. I cannot wait to share those with y'all. All right, and I also share them with my members here, okay? You join my memberships, okay, and I'll upload the team's videos for my members, okay? Garage, I just funded my E-Trade account. Funds probably won't clear till next Wednesday. I'm thinking to start with Cornerstone first. Wonder how the market will be by then. Yeah, everyone wants to start with Cornerstone. I know, I get the enthusiasm, Garage. I always start with, 1/4 of a position in many things. And, and then you can, kind of stalk it from there. Hey, I should say 07. Hello, 07. Welcome, 07. Glad you could make it today. Hope everything is going well, 07. Let me know if you need anything. Jake, you could wait until Monday. Oh, yeah, right. It's a holiday. Forgot about that, Jake. Thank you, Jake. Yep, Tuesday, okay? Monday or Tuesday. So let's go Tuesday, all right? Maybe even Wednesday so we can get more market data. Yeah, Brad, man, I can't wait, okay? I can't wait to share those with y'all, okay? Those ideas on loans. All right, so, I'm just so excited about our performance, okay? SL, you bought a small amount of CAIQ recently. We'll check it out. Will you check it out, Todd? Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about these funds lately, and, we'll go more in depth on it on the next members only video. But for these kinds of funds, Granite Shares is coming out with a lot of auto callables, and Calamos likes to deal with callable funds, and it's an exciting. It's a I wouldn't say it's the sexiest subject, but it's exciting for us dividend nuts, who love any kind of dividend paying fund. Me and Frosty, again, we're just talking about this. It's a good way to preserve your risk when you use callables, like convertibles and stuff like that. Calamos, again, likes to do that, but the yields are usually lower in return. Right, Justin. Let us know how that goes, Justin. Okay. Excited to see, how those do. Garage, I was thinking same, then NVOI, NVD Next, already hold those, but drip at NAV, their bank accounts, drip at the NAV, pay, and their bank accounts to pay the bills. Right. You can't do this without E-Trade, you're saying, because they give you the drip at the NAV, E-Trade, right, and the bank account to pay bills with. Exactly. It's harder to do this kind of lifestyle with Robinhood or anything else. All right, so I love you all. Again, if you need help doing what I'm doing, email me for my e-guides. If you have questions about anything that I'm doing, they're all in my e-guides, okay? You can either email me at akatop48@gmail.com or head to my website, unconventionalwealthideas.com. All right, if anyone has any better ways or smarter ways to play ULTY and MSTY, and if they're getting this kind of outperformance, up 4% plus. I know my members are up 4 to 5% plus, but they're using many of the similar vehicles that I'm using. They just, do it a little bit differently. If anyone else has any suggestions, please leave them in the chat. All right. I love y'all. I had a great time. I'll see you on the next stream. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.